The Dreaming. Many mentions. Dreams, the Burning Dream. New York City, March 25, 1911, 4:45 p.m. The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. "Hold my hand," Franny says, forgetting that the German girl standing on the ledge next to her can't speak English. The wall behind them is hot enough to blister skin now, hot enough to fry an egg, she thinks, and looks desperately down at the street again. The firemen are still shouting for them to jump, but Franny can see that the rope nets are useless. The force of the falling bodies is tearing them from the fireman's hands. Green Street is already littered with the corpses of other girls who have jumped or fallen or been pushed. Inside the factory, the fire is a wild and living thing, eating the others alive. Most of them have stopped screaming by now, and the scalding air around her stinks of their burning bodies and hair. Franny knows that she is going to die, one way or another, but she doesn't want to burn. "Hold my hand," she says again. "I can't do this by myself," she says, and pries the German girl's fingers free of the bricks and squeezes the girl's hand tightly in her own. "Don't let go. Just don't let go," not caring anymore that the girl can't understand. That doesn't matter any longer. Franny O'Neill closes her eyes, imagines the sudden merciful rush of cool air across her face, the few seconds of relief before the pavement. She says a prayer that it will be over quickly. And together they step off into nothing. After what seems like a long time, she opens her eyes. The German girl is gone, and the air still smells like burning. If I'm dead, she thinks, this may not be hell, but it isn't heaven.
"Whatever you're thinking, missy, it's probably nothing like that at all. That's usually the way with dreams, Sir found. You try making something substantial of 'em, and they piss you about every time."
"You mean this is a dream? I'm dreaming? But I was falling."
"See it however you likes, love, but the folks what needs our help off yonder."
"But the factory, the fire, Jesus and Mary." She follows the old woman into the restless mist, towards the high and burning house, and Franny tries to remember when she's ever had a dream where she knew she was dreaming. The mist surrounds her like blue-gray velvet and glass-bead curtains, and there are voices in it, she thinks, not people speaking, just voices. Terrible lost voices. No, not lost, but loss itself, calling her with 100 murmuring soulless tongues, wanting her only because it's never had anything else. Something wet brushes against her legs, and she opens her mouth to scream. And then the blazing bonfire house looms above her, no memory of escaping the clinging mist, but no denying the heat and too familiar smells and sounds of burning either. In the hurricane roar and timber crackling, she hears them all again, Max Hogfield shouting from the stairwell that there was fire coming up from the aids, and then women screaming, scrambling, trapped. "Das Feuer! Zu löschen, schnell!" Franny knows that the soldiers speaking German. Like Ingrid, the girl she dragged out onto the ledge with her. Franny can't speak German. The cold water sloshes over the edge of the bucket onto her dress. She takes the heavy bucket from him and passes it to the rabbit. Someone calls her name. "Franny? Franny O'Neill?" And there's a dizzy sick moment of vertigo before she's looking down at herself from somewhere high overhead, as if she's flying or floating above the blaze. The black smoke rises all around her, and cinders sting her skin like angry glowing bees. Grounded again, and now she's watching the fires through the cataract cloudy eyes of an old man named Kinsey Sullivan. With his mind, she remembers his memories of an October night in 1871, the night Chicago burned, the night he lost his wife and 2 grandchildren. 3 lonely years since that night, and Kinsey Sullivan has dreamed of fire on every one of them. The hands the child's pail on to the next man in line and passes Franny along with it. Now it's 1755, and she's a Spaniard named Antonio Carvalho. Only a moment ago he was standing on the listing deck of a ship on the Tagus River, watching Lisbon burn as the earth heaved and broke itself apart. The ocean rolled, and he remembers falling, sea and sky changing places before he hit his head on the tilting deck. Antonio gives the pail to a girl named Natsuko, and Franny slips from the man into the woman like a whisper. I'm blind now, she thinks, surprised that this mind could be so full of light and yet unable to see. Natsuko Miyoshi's head is crowded with hurting remembrances of an August afternoon in 1945, a city named Nagasaki, that Franny has never heard of. This girl is dreaming too, Franny realizes, asleep in a hospital bed, wrapped in bandages and morphine numbness. And in the instant before she follows the cold pail of well water, Franny sees cherry blossoms and an autumn blue sky that catches fire and begins to fall. Nightmare hands pass a tin pail to the German soldier, the stormtrooper whose last memory is a firestorm below raging above his Dresden bunker and the concussion rain of RAF bombs. For a fleeting moment, Franny's thoughts are in German, and if I could talk to Ingrid now, she thinks. And then she's Franny again, peering out through her own smoke-raw watering eyes. I'm only dreaming.
If you're quite done admiring it, we're waiting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm so sure.
She hears the voice again, a kindly voice, calling her, and she looks up. Black wings overhead, struggling against the searing updrafts, a crow or a raven, and she thinks, that's death, sure, come for me, and none of this is a dream after all. Only dreaming. Franny, it's time, the kindly voice says, a young girl's voice growing insistent, and she's rising again, but the raven passes through her. And Franny O'Neill glides above the fire on strong ebony wings.
The boss knows now. He's sending some rain from the palace. He could send a goddamn Red Sea and it'd still be too goddamn late.
Get Eve, Matthew, please.
Eve? What the hell good's she gonna do? Jesus on a bright green pogo stick,
the raven says in its sandpapery raven voice, but Franny's too busy staring down at the world washing by below to pay attention or wonder that the bird can talk.
The old son of a bitch actually said please. Yeah, well, I couldn't believe it either. I think maybe you better hurry.
Yes, Matthew, I think perhaps I'd better, the old woman says, the ancient woman who seems to be getting younger right before Franny's borrowed raven eyes.
But I can tell you, Eve, you don't have to be an Albert Einstein to know the house's history.
Jamela, the woman says, and Franny Raven thinks that it's a pretty name, Jamela, and how this woman aging backwards smells safe like attic dust and jasmine perfume. She could stay here. But then she's flying again, the amazing muzzles and feathers of the raven's silk-black wings to carry her high above the wasteland, and the woman named Eve hurrying along below. And the dream takes her back to the fire, back to the dying house. It has never once occurred to Franny that a house could die, but she knows that this one is. And it hurts to burn, the way she always knew it would.
Faster, lord-ass, or I'm tossing you in axed.
There's something past the pain, though. I'm going just as fast as I can, Kane. Something bottomless and very quiet, like the deepest dreamless sleep.
Well, it isn't nearly fast enough, you stuttering cretin. Can't you see? My house is all burning down.
And it occurs to Franny O'Neill that the house had a choice in this.
Beep.
Kane,
It's what? For once in your miserable life, just open your goddamn mouth and say it.
Joy. The well's gonna dry, Kane. And it's over. It's over. Her dream changes again then, and she's herself again, standing before the heat and devouring brilliance of the burning house.
Hey, so that's it? You're just giving up? Sheesh.
But Franny thinks, just because the house had a choice and chose this, doesn't mean everything inside it had the same opportunity.
I mean, what the holy heck? You're telling me you're just gonna sit there on your bony old ass and let it burn to the ground? What do you want me to do, Mervyn? Piss on it? If that's what it takes, hell yeah!
Oh God.
What?
It ain't empty, is it? There are still live things inside.
No, ma'am. No one lives in there but Kane and this big green goggle of his, and they're both safe. No, Mervyn, she's right. All my mysteries are still inside. Get out of my way, you blasted scarecrow. I just can't let you do it, Kane. It's too late. You can't stop me, Sluck for brains. Maybe not, but I gotta try.
Please, Kane.
Both of you, let go of me. They're all helpless without me. They're contained. I have to show them the way out.
Gregory, help.
I said, get out of my way, Pumpkinhead.
Mervyn?
Oh, my Pumpkinhead. You were warned.
And her head does hurt, her brain starting to boil from the heat, sizzling behind her eyes. Hot enough to fry an egg, she thinks, and feels sick and wants to laugh. This is what it feels like to be a burning house, a burning building. The flames taking her apart in little pieces, and then those pieces are nothing but smoke and ash, and there's that much less of her to hurt. This is how it feels to be filled with so many things, all of them wanting out, and always held inside by the walls of yourself. But the timbers and stones and shingles that have held you together for so long are parting ways, the nails and roofing tags melting. And the pain is only something that comes before the peace, before release and the emptiness you've wanted for 100,000 years. And the binding rules cease to matter in the dissolution, and you can let it all go. Franny, can't you hear me? The kindly voice says. And for just an instant, something even too short to be called an instant, she's flying again. Fly with me, Franny, the voice whispers. Oh, she thinks, to never hear another goddamn sewing machine, to never smell the sweat or feel the ache in hands worked raw and bleeding. But she's afraid and turns away from the voice, falls back into herself instead.
Come back here. Where do you think you'll go? Stop it, I order you to stop.
Kane.
What? God damn it. What the hell do... Hey! Put me down.
Shut up, Kane. Shut the hell up and tell me where Jamela is.
Jamela? Oh, shit.
That's what I thought. She hasn't even crossed your mind.
What was I supposed to do? I've been trying to keep my house from burning down.
You're a hopeless, selfish bastard, Cain.
I would have remembered her, eventually.
You just stay right where you are, Cain. I'll find Jamela.
No way, Eve. Not if she's still in there.
If there's still any chance at all, Matthew, I have to try.
Jesus! That's all she wrote, Eve. We can't let you go in there.
She's my daughter, Matthew.
Wait here. I'll be right back. If I ever find out who did this, I swear, I'll personally peck their eyes out.
Matthew. This time Frenny goes with the raven of her own accord, slips from the dream body and follows him up through the flames, and smokes and sparkling cinder rain. Embers fall on his beating wings, and she can smell the stink of burning feathers. Hello, Raven. And then this place that reeks as much of insanity and despair as it does of burning. I was hoping maybe everyone had forgotten about me again. And Frenny hears what the raven thinks, but doesn't say, yeah, well, I was kinda hoping you were already dead myself. Because he loves the woman he calls Eve, because he'll have to tell her the truth, and he knows there's no way he'll be able to stop her.
Someone's gonna come for you, Jamela, but you gotta stay right here, okay? So they know where to find you.
Freddy tastes his fear for her like a sweet and rotting fruit, a ripe peach with a foul and wormy pit. The raven spreads his black wings and the greedy fire takes him back, and Frenny brushes carelessly against the mad woman's mind. It's nothing she'd ever want to do again. And the good and the bad and the worst and the best have gone. Bye, Raven. But oh, she's thinking, I'm so sorry, and I'm not worth the risking of the least among you.
Yeah, she's still alive, but she won't be much longer if someone doesn't get her out of it there. Looks like the whole damn roof's gonna go pretty soon. Come on, Gregory. I can't do this alone.
What I said before when I called you a selfish bastard.
Don't start lying to me now, Eve. We both know the truth, and at least one of us should have the nerve to say it out loud.
Please, Cain, be careful. Can't wait around for much longer, the kindly voice says to Frenny O'Neill, a hint of impatience now. But she can't go yet. The dream isn't over.
Oh, have on it. Just get your warty green ass in here.
And even though she's still outside, Frenny is also inside the house with a strange man and his gargoyle.
The darn upside. Maybe if we think a few damn thoughts. Stay close to me, Gregory.
We're not going to make it, the man thinks, and Frenny really is afraid now, both her fear and the strange man's fear, and the heat makes it boil inside her. And he opens the door. It pours in around them, a voracious, starving thing. Frenny feels the fire lick its skin and hair, cloth and scales, the fresh night air coming in through the open window.
Gregory!
She feels the fire. Cain! This is my dream, Frenny thinks, and I want this to stop. I want this to stop now. And then it is over.
Indeed. I think I've crushed my ribs, you squamous fool. Get off me.
Eve, but how? That doesn't matter. Not right now, Mel. You and Cain are both alive, and that's all that matters to me now. Cain? Cain went in to find you, Jamela.
You said that already.
You came for me, Cain? You were trying to save me?
Yeah, well, whatever. Just don't go getting all weepy on me and maybe call it even.
Or
Anyway, it's really a woman guild over there you ought to be thanking.
or
But it's her job to know all the soft spots. A few dozen millennia and anyone should know the right buttons to push to drive a sane man into a burning homicidal building. Why do you take the shit off of him, Eve?
they're all still alive, and Frenny wonders if they have any idea what that's worse. The resentment and bitter spite rolls out of them like heat of the scalding bricks of the ash building. As if they have all eternity to bicker and wound one another all the time in the world to solve their simple, selfish differences. She remembers stepping off the ledge with the German girl. It's almost over. We should be going. It's almost over, she thinks again. The house is as dead as any house that never dreamed. An empty shell of blackening timber and melting glass. And soon there won't even be that much left.
Course, just 'cause it's a dream, Missy, do mean you carve and burn just the same. Seen it happen enough times I ought to know.
Whatever dim silver still remains of its soul slips away, unnoticed by anyone but Frenny O'Neill.
No, don't look, Rowie. Don't look at her. I can't see shit. What's happening?
Nothing you wanted to see. Now, Frenny, the kindly voice says, now it is over. Who is she?
What? Oh, you mean the voice you've been hearing? Yeah. Oh, lots of names for the darkling girl, but I expect you know who she is, don't you?
Think she's me dying.
That's one way of looking at it.
The old woman ghost fades slowly away, and Frenny can feel the others going too. The soldier and all the others who briefly shared her bright dream of fire. Each drawn reluctantly awake, or maybe they've all been fighting gentle voices of their own.
You don't have to go, you know, because you were dreaming when you died. You can stay here instead. It's a rule.
When I died?
Sorry, but yeah, you got that look.
Christ, if I go, is heaven and all that?
I think it's different things, depending.
This doesn't seem like a very good place, Frenny says to the raven. Not much better than being alive. They all seem to hate each other so much.
Well, they've got problems, the raven says. It's not all this bad.
But the air bleeds with the sounds of burning and sorrow, and if she stays, she'll never know if there's anything better. So Frenny O'Neill listens to the voice.
Good luck, kiddo.
New York City, March 25th, 1911, 5:15 p.m. And there's one unexpected flesh-powder instant between the dream and whatever's to come, one last moment of pain and smoke. She sees it all, a thousand shifting vantage points, as the horror burns itself out overhead and lies broken on the glass and concrete pavement of Green Street. A spark, she thinks, except it isn't really thinking anymore. A spark and everything is changed forever. Then time is not even time anymore. But she thinks she hears the sound of Singer flywheels round and round, and someone's humming every little movement has a meaning of its own. Or, let me call you sweetheart. Sometimes there have to be ashes, the kindly voice tells her, or she tells herself, and the world slips smoothly from her fingers.